Hi, welcome to Your Time to Shine with your hosts, Darlene and Julie.
Your Time to Shine is a radio show devised to help you explore your own divine gifts.
So we are live from Oregon, both Julie and I, and it is really smoky here. So if we are interrupted by coughing or sneezing, yeah, it's pretty heavy, the air quality, and it's unusual for us being out in the Pacific Northwest. So
it is. They said that our air quality is just as bad as, I think they said, Beijing.
We were second worst in the world yesterday and today. So yay!
Something to aspire to.
Right. What Julie and I were thinking about having a conversation about this evening with everybody is about resistance. So where in our lives are we resisting and in the energy of fighting? Because if we're fighting something, if we're going against something, that's going to create a lot more of that energy. So tonight we'll talk about what's the alternative? Because, we are triggered by things that happen out in the world or within ourselves or, even in our own environments and families. So doing some body scans and energy work and healing around what it is we're resistant to, why, and what's causing that, and does it even belong to us? Or are we just tapping into somebody else's resistance? Or like right now, the world at large, or at least in America, we're having a resistance to a lot of what's going on around us. So Julie, is there something in particular you do when resistance comes up? Or when you notice you're in resistance and you're just creating more of it?
Yeah, it's really hard, as we're human, right? And it's so easy just to just get caught up in the moment and just keep thinking that thought over and over and over in our heads. I think the biggest thing for me is just to stop and recognize it. That is really the first thing to do is to stop the monkey mind, that just constant rambling in your head of, the negative thoughts and the what ifs. And believe me, I've had a really hard time with that this week. I've talked to a few other people too, and they're having the same issue. But yeah, it's been a tough week that I've had to really stop and go, okay, wait a minute, what is this really about? I've had to ask the question, who does this belong to? Because I found out that a lot, especially over the weekend, it was not mine. I was picking up on other energies. And so just, if you can at least be an awareness of going, okay, this is not working for me. I'm feeling very negative. I'm feeling very angry. It's okay to feel that way. Yeah. But after a while, you need to stop the madness. And so I think for me, just becoming aware, asking, is this mine? And then the other thing is just to, go to one of my positive spaces as far as, go out, take a walk in nature, take the dogs for a walk. To me, just getting out into nature really actually helps me the most to kind of calm down and just refocus.
That's a great idea, especially the dogs. Oh my gosh, that's the best medicine. So what I was thinking while you were talking is what is resistance, and how does someone even know if they're in that space? And resistance is something, it's what our bodies do. It's not just a thought, but the body will also become part of the situation. So if you ever said something, saw something, heard something, and immediately your body contracts. So resistance is something that really triggers us, and it triggers our emotions. It triggers what our bodies are doing. So if we feel tight, if we feel angry, if we feel like we want to charge forward or punch something, take a step back. And yeah, it's, we will, get angry at things, but what can we do about once we're in that space? How long do you want that to go? What is the benefit of being angry? And how long do you have to be in that space before anything good comes of it? Or, we can look at your anger and ask, okay, what is this? Who does it belong to? And can I change it? What energy can I be here so that I can see this from a different perspective? Because it's hard to see through anger. It's hard to see through resistance. We're only seeing one side of something. We're only acting from that contracted state of being. And I know for myself that when I'm in resistance, it's not benefiting me and it's not benefiting anybody I'm in the situation with. So I stop and I collect myself and I ask, okay, can I change this and how? What energy and space can I be here so that I can take a breath and see this through different eyes, whether it's through compassion or taking myself out of it or not taking something so personally. I ask questions like, how else can I look at this? How can I change this? What's right about this? There might be some, I hate to bring politics up, but a lot of people are in resistance to the present state of the government. And a lot of people will also say, well, it's resistance that will change. Well, has anything changed as of yet? Not really. So how can we look at this resistance in regards to politics in our present environment? How can we look at it and ask, okay, if resistance and anger really isn't doing anything, what else can we do? What other possibilities are there? So that may be something not even on a big level. It may be starting small, like within your own home.
Right.
Or, let's love each other. Let's not bully each other. We may be seeing that going on in the outer world, but what can you do personally to change first yourself? And then there's this ripple effect.
Yeah.
So really starting small.
Right, absolutely.
When it comes to resistance.
Well, I know another good thing when you're feeling like you're in resistance and you feel like you're pushing against everything. Nothing seems to flow. It feels very choppy. When you're doing things at home or at work, and things that normally would take you 30 minutes to do, or is now taking you 2 hours to do. Well, there's that resistance, and all that does is create anger, and then, like Darlene says, then you start feeling that in your body. Your body starts tensing up. Your heart may start racing, and you know at that point that you're in resistance. Another good way to kind of turn that around is try to focus your mind on something else, something that's positive, and just go over that in your mind. Be thankful for certain things that are going right in your life. And what it does is it changes the composure in your head and in your brain and your chemicals in your body, actually. they start to shift and change with that as well. And so, or even if you can just for a moment focus on something, just focus on the light bulb or focus on the door, just those split second things can have a good ripple effect, because it changes your focus. It changes your focus to something kind of neutral, and then you can focus yourself on something more positive. So if you can't make that big shift, try something more neutral and then go to the next shift.
Right, and go back to whatever it is that's triggering you.
Exactly.
That space, because what really the key and the trick is to get your body out of auto response.
Exactly.
Because the pushing and the shoving is not an energy that's going to change anything.
No, it's not.
No, and if we are, what is that saying? Resisting is persisting. How does that saying go? If you resist it, it will persist. It will stay, because you're not looking at how to change it. You're just fighting against it. Mm-hmm. And that's really not going to change anything. So always being in the question, how can I change this? And looking at it once you've calmed your body down and get it out of auto response. So that's right. It's really helpful. One of the reasons I do so many Reiki sessions with people is in our culture, we're constantly in fight or flight. So what happens with most energy healings is it helps people to calm down and allow their bodies to rest. So there's actually then less resistance, the more energy healing work that you do on your body.
Yeah.
And yes, I've lived, resist, and it persists.
I think we all have.
Yep. So yeah, just go to a quieter space and look at something. So it's not about ignoring what's going on. It's about just looking at it after you've calmed down, and you can look at it through with different eyes.
Yeah, it's all perspective.
My animals too. You talked about taking your dogs for a walk. My dogs remind me of getting back to that space, because I see that when I'm agitated, when I'm in resistance to something, when I'm feeling anger, my dogs will pick up on that. And that's the last thing I want for my animals, is to sense that energy. So if there's any motivation in my life, it's so that my dogs don't have to reap my anger and my resistance to things.
Yeah, but they do, because they take it on as their own, so that you don't have to take it anymore. That they seem to just do that so well.
And they're so empathic. And,
yes.
They just take on and reflect what it is that's going on for us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's harder right now to get out and enjoy those nature walks, because it is quite smoky out there. Hoping that it will clear up very soon.
Right, it does make it harder to do what comes naturally to us. So then, do you meditate?
I do. I don't do it as often as I should, but yes, I do.
Because sometimes I find what's really funny, if I can't do the walk, if I can't be out in nature or near the ocean, sometimes meditation for me isn't the answer.
Right.
So everybody has their own source of calming down. And it's not going to be the same thing as it is for everybody else. So for me, music. Oh my gosh, I love music, and that helps too. Yeah. And it's usually it's like hairband music. It's like music that gets me moving and rocking. It's not the calm and relaxing music. I
No.
need to move my body. I need to play my air guitar. And that's what's going to help me shift from, anxiety, resistance, anger. And it sounds funny because hair band music is loud and gets you, but for me, it brings me such joy. Yeah.
Well, it does. It gets you up and moving.
Which is also, some people will exercise if they're in that resistance or their anger. Oh, if they're mad, they have to go for a run.
They have to go for a run. Exactly.
I'm more that type. Yeah, I don't run, but I need to move when I'm angry. Yeah. Not meditate. That usually isn't my thing.
No, that's not my thing either.
So we have, someone else from Canada, Tara from Ontario, Canada. Tara, you're on the line with Darlene and Julie.
I'm here, thank you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm here. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. How can we help you tonight?
I was offered a reading, actually. I had a couple questions about, I'm kind of starting fresh, and Liz's guidance would be helpful at this moment. Hello?
Interesting. I'm seeing a vision of smoke clearing, which is really interesting because it's kind of what we're in the midst of right now. So it's interesting how they present that to me. But in your case, yes, the smoke is clearing. And it looks like this fresh start is exactly what you need to have happen.
Yes, I agree. Yes. I'm just hoping there's a fresh start with the gentleman I'm with. Maybe he's coming along. I'm not sure.
Okay, let me tune in here for just a minute. I'm getting that you guys are very compatible, and that you guys you have a very different type of a relationship, but it's really unique and very loving, very warm. I see this situation working out pretty well for you. But just know that, like I said, this isn't going to be the type of relationship that you've had before. It's going to look entirely different. So just be very open to that. And if you can be really open to that, it's going to be, it's just going to be, it's going to be really rewarding, rewarding for you.
Do you know how it's going to look different, or an idea? Because I find myself carrying myself very differently than I have in other relationships. A bit more, I don't want to say paranoid, but hesitant to less trustworthy. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm scared of losing him more than I have with other men. I'm not really sure.
Well, I think in this particular instance, you are diving in with both feet, and I feel like you haven't done that really in the past.
Right.
You haven't really given yourself. That sounds like a really cliche thing to say, but you haven't really given yourself fully in the relationships. And this again is where I say this is going to be a completely different type of relationship for you. It looks really fantastic and magical, and feels really good. So I would just say, just go with it, enjoy it, and watch what unfolds, because I think it's going to be. It's going to be something that is beyond what you are even expecting at this point.
I've always
and I think that's probably
it felt like.
What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's why you're getting that feeling of losing him or something like that. That's where, or the paranoia. That's where that's coming from, is because you're really opening up and giving it your all. And Yeah, so that's where all this is coming from.
Okay, perfect, excellent. And I'm looking for work right now. In the financial aspect, is this working out what happened?
Well, I can tell you that I'm getting a big thumbs up on work and financial. However, we are coming down to the very end of our show. So if you would like,
Okay.
we can finish the reading if you go to Your Time to Shine on our Facebook page and message us, and we would be happy to continue the conversation.
Thank you very much. I'd love that. And thank you very much for inviting me to your show.
Thank you so much for calling in, and everyone, thank you for joining us tonight, and we will see you all next week.